Hi everybody, Elisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Today, I thought I would show my newest custom tote in case people might be interested in seeing the some of the custom fabrics. Um, I used these fabrics in my previous, some of them anyway, in my previous custom tote. But in different arrangement. And I'm so pleased with the way it came out. This just to remind people, and I will put a link to the video, this was my previous custom tote that I talked about. And this fabric here is Itsy Ditsy Navy. This was Itsy Ditsy Creatures Navy. But I just couldn't get enough of this fabric, especially after the real Itsy Ditsy came out. Which I love, but I do prefer this color scheme. And so it just got me thinking, so I was considering getting Itsy Ditsy in a small Vera, because I like the pattern so much. And then I thought, these are really the Itsy Ditsy Navy is really the palette that I like, that I prefer. So it's worth it to not spend the money on that small Vera and Itsy Ditsy and really, go whole hog and get a bag with a fabric that I really like. I've said in my other video on this bag that I tend to like to use all one fabric on the exterior because I think it makes for a more unified look, and I feel like the bag sort of starts to look like it's falling apart and looks too handmade and a little amateurish when like you've got a solid fabric and a pattern fabric and a monogram or whatever. It just doesn't hold together anymore for me. But I think these latest patterns that they've put up in the custom section really go well together because they're similar color schemes. So I'm talking about Itsy Ditsy Navy and this, which is Cloudvine Multi. Along with this Itsy Ditsy Creatures too. But I didn't use that one in this bag. So it just made me feel like I could take a chance, because I do think it's always a risk when you're mocking up something and that and playing with the customization tool, which is always fun. But it's hard to know how accurate it is, how accurate the colors are, the brightness affects, things, and that was a concern for me with this, as I thought it looked very muted on the screen, and what if I got it and these straps really jumped out and the contrast was too great for my eye, and so I was worried about it. It's always a risk. I feel like, these are not easily returnable bags. I mean, if they take them back, you probably got to have a good reason, especially if you do embroidery. And I did do custom embroidery inside, as I like to do, and I'll show that. But anyway, so I just decided it might be nice if the straps just popped a little bit, just give the bag a little bit of oomph. And I was, had been playing around. First I was looking at, and I probably will at some point break down and get a whole bag in Cloudvine Multi, because I do love that pattern too. And I was playing around with piping on that when I had mocked it up, just to get a little bit of a burst of color. What could I do with the piping that's a little different? But then when I settled on this pattern, I decided the piping should just be subdued, and the strap would be a little bit of oomph. So that's what I did. I did the whole bag, the body and the pocket in Itsy Ditsy Navy, and I did the strap in Cloudvine Multi. The trim is Indigo microfiber, which so far has been the only trim I've used. I have considered the denim. I do think the denim looks nice, but it tends to look a little, sort of skews towards black a little bit. And I didn't feel like that I needed that kind of darkness here. And then I went slightly different with the embroidery thread, which I'll get to, because in my previous two bags I used lavender, and I talked about this in my last video that I was disappointed because it didn't really look lavender. The thread is such a light color that it doesn't really look like anything. It looks like off-white. But here, I was really pleased with the embroidery and the thread color, which I'll get to. But I has plastic, soft plastic zippers, and I just thought I'd go over the dimensions again real quick for people who might be wondering about the Vera Tote. This is your standard Vera Tote, the larger size. The strap drop, I think, is 12. Yeah, 12, and the straps are soft. But I feel like sometimes the measurements that are given on the website for this bag seem a little misleading because it is a big bag, and I'm not sure exactly how they're measuring it. So when I measure it across the top here, and I'm not even pulling it, I'm not really even pulling it tight this way. So when I measure this opening and it's just sort of natural and loose, 16 and a half, 17 inches. It gains some length if I pull it tight. And I'm not sure that's the dimension given on the website. I'm not sure how they're measuring exactly. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I checked, but I feel like it was given as like 14, closer to 14. Although maybe I'm remembering the height. I don't know. The height is about 14 and a half. So it's a big bag, and it's a soft, there's a base in there, something giving it some stiffness and structure, but it's not removable, and it is flexible. But I have washed not all my Vera Totes, but I have washed a bunch of my Vera Totes, and they all have gone through fine. I don't know that I would, wash them too much, but whenever I buy something off of eBay or so, even if it's new with tags, I'll throw it in the washer. But I'm careful with my bags, and they tend not to get too grimy. I wouldn't want to be overwashing these bags because I am sure there's some glue somewhere in here helping with the construction. It's not all sewn together. So there's glue somewhere in here, and over time in the washer, that might be a problem. So the thickness of this bag is 6. So, this way, 6 this way. So I was very pleased. Yeah, pattern placement may be not critical with this pattern, but you always want something nice on the pocket. And I did want a full dragonfly, and I didn't get one. And I feel like I got good full dragonflies elsewhere. There's one here. There are 2, I think, in the pattern, 2 different full dragonflies. There's another one here. On the back panel, I think I got both of them together. They're kind of far apart. Here. Whoops. You can see them both. One up there, and the other one there. So I really felt like these palettes were together, the one in Cloudvine Multi and the Itsy Ditsy Navy. They all have the same kind of like light purples, pinks, a little bit of turquoise. So I think they work really well. And I'm really falling in love with the turquoise elements in Itsy Ditsy Navy. I just kind of almost wish there were more of them. You can see them there. And they just pop very nicely. Like the ocean color, kind of color. And of course you get the butterflies and the ladybugs, and there are bees. As I said in a recent, when I was talking about Itsy Ditsy, there are bees in this pattern. They're very subtle because they're in the color scheme. They're not yellow. Let's see if I can find one quick, but they are hard to find. It took me a while to find one, and for the longest time I didn't even know there was one in the, there may be more than one, but here's one. There's sort of lavender. The stripes are lavender. Light lavender, picking up some of the light lavender touches in the pattern. So it's just a great pattern. So I can, let me put it on, and just so people can get an idea of how big it is against the body, and then I'll take everything out and turn it inside out to show the lining and the embroidery. Excuse me, puppies. Okay. So can't get too far back here where I am. So I'm 5'4", So you can see, you know, it's a big bag. But I'm really pleased with the straps. I mean, they pop just like I wanted them to, and you still see a little bit of piping. You know, the microfiber trim reads well from a distance too, picks up the zipper. But I just wanted that little pop of the brighter strap to give it a little bit of interest, make it a little bit different without it being too busy for me. I just think it really highlights, just like almost like a nice frame for the main fabric. As you can see, it doesn't look so big this way, but you know, it's big, it sticks out. So as I always say, it looks better when you've got a substantial amount of stuff in it. Otherwise it just looks too flat, like you have this flat pancake hanging from your body. It looks silly, like why are you carrying such a big bag? Okay, and this is the standard, all the standard features of the regular Vera. It's a regular Vera. So there's that slightly recessed zipper, that hidden slip pocket, lined in the proper lining fabric, matching lining fabric. And on the front is that slip pocket with the zipper pocket on top. They are offering some other pocket options, and you can do a trolley sleeve on the back. I'm not crazy about the way that looks in this bag because I think this space in between, it would fall in between these two straps, and I feel like that's too narrow of a trolley sleeve. I don't know if it fits on luggage, you know, rolling luggage, but it may, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a standard dimension or what, but I just think visually, it mucks up the back and doesn't look that great. They also offer like some kind of lined jewelry pocket you can have here. I don't need that. And various other things inside. I don't know whether it's a laptop sleeve or like a padded, I'm not sure if they do that. I know that you can get I think you can get a changing pad. Anyway, there are a bunch of options. I think there's a removable strap, and you can get shorter straps. I think the strap drop on the short strap's a little bit too short for me because I like to put this on my shoulder a lot. I think it's a very short strap drop. So inside, for the lining, I also did Cloudvine Multi because I thought I would pick up the strap. And it's nice and light, so you can see stuff easy inside. So I've got, you know, it's same configuration inside as a regular off-the-rack Vera. 6 large slip pockets, which are nice. So in the center, on one side, I keep my iPad mini, slips right in. I have hand sanitizer, a tall bottle, slips nicely into these pockets because these pockets are deep. They go down to the bottom of the bag, basically. And so that accommodates that tall bottle really nicely. Just a lanyard, Cloudvine Multi lanyard. So this is the real, no, this is not Cloudvine Multi. This is just Cloudvine. This is the pattern in the, you know, not in the custom option. This is the first Cloudvine, the real Cloudvine color option. It's coming out a little blue, as I always say. For some reason, my computer lens has trouble capturing this color accurately. So it's a minty sort of seafoam kind of color. I just keep my shopping like store discount cards on there. What else have I got in here? I have a bunch of masks stuff, and oh, I could just mention this briefly because I did probably show this in my mask video that I did recently, but this is French paisley, which if people aren't aware, the preview for this fabric is being released. Okay, I think the date on the website was August 6th, and so all these preview items are up there now that are going to be available, all the bags and everything. So if people want to go check it out, it's fun to look at. And this is the pattern on the mask. I did get a bird. The pattern has lots of birds, which is nice. It's very, whenever I see this pattern, I think of lace. I always say it's a lacy pattern. Something about this sort of leaf motif around the paisleys. And we were shown this in the focus group, the online focus group, a while ago. And I did like it because of the birds, but I did feel it was a little feminine for me, a little girly for me. But I do think, after seeing it mocked up, and I thought this might be the case, that on the bags that are more square and a little less girly, like not like, you know, something that's not the Glenna, that's sort of very soft and feminine, but on the stuff that's sort of more square, this might look good. It might, the sort of boxiness of the bag might counteract the sort of femininity and laciness of the pattern, and I think it does. It works very well, and they have the trim, the side trim is back with this pattern, so that's super nice. That's something I wish they would do with the custom totes. I wish they would give you that option for a customization for an additional fee. I would pay extra for that. If you could, they could have a couple of different choices of coordinating trim, and if the trim, you know, was something that worked with some of the patterns, that would be great. I could definitely have seen something here with butterflies, big butterflies. I would have been all over that. I mean, I definitely think that would be a neat option to add to the customization section of the website, some coordinating trim. And then, you know, it would rotate like the regular fabrics do. They don't keep all the fabrics up there forever, unfortunately. But I just think that would be kind of neat. So getting back to what's in here, then I have my Carson cell phone crossbody, which people watch my videos, they probably know I just use it as like padding protection inside. And I like this with the Vera especially because it slips so nicely into one of those slip pockets. And then I just always know where my phone is. I can just grab it. I tend to keep this open, the flap just sort of hanging out like that, and I just lift it up and grab my phone out. This is Itsy Ditsy, the regular Itsy Ditsy. So I can sort of show them side by side. You would think, you know, like I said, you would think pattern placement really isn't a big issue, and it is less of an issue for me with this, but I was a little disappointed because I do love these deep pink, almost magenta type flowers, and I was hoping to get them more front and center, but I decided to keep this because, and where is it? Yes, because I realized I got one of the red butterflies, and I think the red butterfly is just so luscious. I mean, that red is almost like, it's a good red. It kind of reminds me of like when that pigeon blood red that you want when you're looking at rubies, that they use, that term, when they talk about rubies of good color. That's kind of what that red reminds me of, that butterfly. And so when I saw that, I said, okay, well, I'll keep it. And I did get some other butterflies, you know, two others. So 3 butterflies are just on that flap alone. So that was good. So I decided to, you know, get over myself and and keep it, you know, keep it. And then there's the bee there with the yellow, the light yellow. A dragonfly in profile, and another butterfly. I mean, you know, it basically really, like I'm always saying, it's hard to go wrong with this pattern. There's a dragonfly there. Red ladybug, red up there. Another bee. Great pattern. And this item, the lining is put in on its side. You know, here, this is the pattern only in the navy version from the custom. So, but it's nice to sort of see the 2 color schemes. Oh gosh, Rosie, are you okay? Just spitting up on my rug. It's nice to, let me get my hand sanitizer out of the way before I knock it over. It's nice to sort of see them together. You can see it's a very different palette. So this, because of the color scheme and the contrast between the lighter flowers, there's greater contrast between the lighter and the darker flowers. There's a big range in value here in the colors. Whereas here, that value range, that contrast range is much lower. And so nothing pops as much. And the whole thing to me just looks a little bit calmer. I really prefer that. So then the rest of the stuff in here is my basics. Turn lock wallet, mini dome, which I noticed hasn't been in the last few releases, and I'm really kind of bummed about that. My latex gloves in a compact organizer from the factory, Lighten Up compact organizer from the factory outlet store. And my GPS and charger cord pouches that I normally have. And my IDs with photos that I normally have, I talk about in every video. Okay, and so again, before I turn it inside out, you can see that fabric really is nice, sort of gives you some lightness in there. Some light so you can see what you're doing when you're rummaging around your bag for stuff. And I'll just turn it out inside out, hopefully without ruining stuff. I always wonder when I do this if I'm really going to mess up the base, the position of the base, like it might slip out of place or something, but so far I've been okay with it. It hasn't happened. In general, I find when you get a bag, sometimes you'll get a bag shipped to you and the base is a little out of whack. And these bags, I have been able, for the most part, to get them back into their proper position with some sort of massaging of the bag. Okay. So, again, Cloudvine Multi. I much prefer this to the regular Cloudvine. Much more interesting. Very pretty. A very light lavender background with touches of orange and pink and these sort of deeper blues. And so I seem to be stuck, although I have a feeling with if I do a tote with this on the outside, I will get custom embroidery on the inside because I like that feature so much, but I was thinking about putting maybe a Bible verse in there, something from the Bible. But right now I'm sort of stuck still in the Duke in the Duke phase, and so I did mock this up. This is my handwriting. I mocked up the lettering. I wanted it to look hand done, but I did want it to look like I was sort of doing it in a font with serifs. These are Rosie fighting over bones. These are serifs for people who might not know. This serif type versus sans serif type. So this would be sans serif type. This is just my handwriting, and this is his name, and in all of it, it's my handwriting for that stuff too. This thread color is Oceanic Green, but it is like a good turquoise, a good kind of sea green. And I felt like it picked up the turquoise on the exterior really nicely. And there are little bits of, I feel like there was another thread color that was close to this but had a little bit more blue in it, and that matched the blue in the Cloudvine pattern better. But I was trying to match this to the turquoise on the outside. That's what I was going for, because I do like anything that looks a little bit more like sea kind of color. That's more appealing to me because I love the ocean so much. So that was my embroidery, and I feel like it came out really well. I was a little, I didn't know how it would come out because I was, in a sense, drawing these letters and filling them in, with ink, with my pen. It's not just my handwriting. It's not just like a line of handwriting. And so I wasn't sure what they would do with it, whether they would even let me do that, because I would imagine it uses up, some thread there to do that. But it was fine. So I'm very pleased with that, how that came out. So that's the inside. And you can see the pockets here. This is a piece of fabric just sewn on to one of the slip pockets. And these slip pockets, like I said, they go down all the way, to the bottom of the bag. So they're generous. Really like that. So I've been saying a lot lately in my Vera videos, especially with coronavirus, and people tend to be, if they're anything like me, they're carrying around a little bit more stuff with them, maybe hand sanitizer, maybe a few masks, maybe gloves, other things. And so, it's just helpful to have all those pockets. And I find when I switch out to another bag, I'm so used to those 6 pockets now, it's sometimes a little challenging. I have to think about where am I going to put everything in the bag, because it works so well in this. The only other bag that I would say when I switch out of I don't have that problem with is the work tote, because that's got good organization as well, for me anyway. So that was it. Not too long, hopefully. My latest custom Vera Tote in Itsy Ditsy Navy with the cloud vine multi straps and lining, Indigo microfiber trim, and Oceanic Green embroidery on the inside. So I hope people found that helpful, especially if they've been looking at these fabrics in the custom section and hesitating. I would say go for it. I've done 3 now, and I would continue to do them. I think they're very well done. I don't have a complaint about any of the 3 of mine. I think they are terrific. Really nicely done, and I appreciate that work very much. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day. Oh, okay, peaches.